Hello everybody, and thank you very much for joining me for another Alfred Hitchcock Presents review. Today I will be talking about Season 2, Episode 3, De Mortuis, starring Robert Emhardt as Professor Rankin. This is a pretty entertaining episode overall, but it is one of those episodes where you got to kind of suspend your disbelief a little bit and just go with the episode. And if you do that, I think it is a pretty enjoyable episode, even if it doesn't really cover a lot of new ground. So this episode starts with our main character, Professor Rankin, and he's got something that looks like it may or may not be a body in a bag, and he's down in a cellar. Basically, his two friends then come over. I believe they want to go fishing with him. Their names are Wally and Bud, I believe. And they start talking. They tell a story thinking he's not home, wanting to wait for him, about his wife. Her name is Irene, maybe not being faithful to him. Then we get these two flashback scenes, one with each friend. In the first one, Bud tells a story about how he saw her leaving with some truck driver one time. And then Wally basically tells a story about how Irene came on to him personally. These flashback scenes are fine. They just kind of show what kind of character Irene may be. I thought it was okay. So things pick up a little bit when the two friends hear the professor down in the basement. They see the cement on the floor and immediately start drawing some conclusions, as we, the audience, do. The professor's explanation is that he has some water problems, but it seems to be kind of shaky and definitely looks like a suspicious story. So it turns out the professor, they ask him, the two friends, about where his wife is. He says, my wife, Irene, went on a trip to visit a friend or a relative or something. And it does seem kind of like a shaky cover story, although maybe it's not as shaky as we originally thought. But we're not 100% sure at this point if the professor did or did not kill his wife. And this part of the plot was good. I genuinely was not sure at this point. I thought this was done well, and it helps the episode in this regard. So then we get this weird story about rats, and I think it's supposed to parallel the main story going on in the episode, but I'm not sure if this really clicked completely, but it's fine if you just go with it, I guess. So at this point, the two guys, after hearing this story with the rats, really suspect that the professor killed his wife, and you can say they jump to a pretty strong conclusion, as all the evidence is definitely circumstantial, especially when we find out what happens later in the episode. So at this point, they question the professor about this. He seems confused. They talk about how, when did you find out your wife was cheating on you and decide to do her in? It turns out that the professor genuinely did not seem to know that his wife was cheating on him. But he does deny killing her. He gets really upset when they accuse him of this. So then, strangely enough, the guys very quickly decide they're going to help him. They're not going to do anything or report this. Again, I guess you just got to kind of go with it. It was kind of hard to believe, but I guess it works in the context of the episode. And they even help him by giving him what they say is a better cover story. So at this point, the two friends leave, and Irene actually comes home. So we find out she was alive after all, and she was going to go visit some relatives, but she missed her bus for her trip or something like that. But now, because the professor knows that she wasn't faithful, he decides he is really going to do her in. And Alfred Hitchcock pretty much tells us that's what happened at the end of the episode. So the twist is that the professor was actually telling the truth the whole time, but because of what he found out about his wife, he has now decided to do what his two friends accused him of to begin with. So overall, a decent twist, an entertaining episode, even if it's one of those you just got to kind of go with. So overall, De Mortuis is a perfectly acceptable, entertaining episode, and I'm going to give it a 3 out of 5. Probably an episode fans of the series will enjoy. Although not really a masterpiece, this is a fun, entertaining episode. So 3 out of 5 for De Mortuis, and as always, thank you very much for watching.